HP Mobile, this is HP Base. That's a good copy. See you when you get here. Hey guys, Bobby Hughes here with Heritage Pride Custom Firearms, and today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about communication. In a worst case scenario situation, communication is a vital importance in your security and just all around getting stuff done. Alright, in my Prepping with a Plan checklist that I put out a few months back, I have 4 C's for security. One of those C's is communication. And in that checklist I talk about some ideas to use, of tools to use for communication. Communication can be used verbally, non-verbally, with signs, all kinds of things. But I'm just going to talk to you guys a minute about my basic communication plan in a grid down or worst case scenario situation where cell phones didn't work or something like that. In my communication checklist, I talk about 2 types of communication mainly, and that's internal and external communications. Internal communications are communication that you want to have with people in your group, within your homestead, or within your compound, and it's communication that you want to keep kind of on the hush-hush, basically. You don't want other people to pick up your traffic. Now, a good way to do that is not with a CB radio. A good way to do that is with a two-way radio on a fixed channel or a fixed network. You can use a fixed network two-way radio. Most of the time your high band scanners won't pick them up, alright, but you could still communicate back and forth. Another thing too with internal communication with a two-way radio is even if you are talking on it, the chances of somebody hearing you if you're in a semi-remote area is slim to none, even if they are scanning, because the range on those two-way radios is so limited. I know some of the really nice ones you can reach maybe a mile, 2 miles, something like that, but it's line of sight. If you have anything in between, you're not going to get that much distance out of it. So the two-way radios make a great internal communication tool so that you can communicate directly with people within your group. Now for external communications, for a little bit longer range, you could move into a CB radio or a ham radio. Ham radios do require you to have a license to operate them, while a CB radio doesn't require you to have a license to operate it. So if you didn't want to go through the process of getting a license for a ham radio, you could always stick with CBs. And with a CB, you're not going to get as much distance. You're probably going to get a couple of miles out of it, but you're not going to get a long distance like you would with a ham radio. But you know, it's expected because a ham radio costs $1,000, a CB radio costs $100. So that's just you know, an idea for you. Now I've got a CB radio in my bug out truck, and I've got a CB radio mounted here that's hooked up to a DC power inverter, or a diverter, or inverter, whatever you want, converter, over here, and that's what gives me my power supply. It's you know, and right now I've got it plugged up to my regular voltage in my home so that I can power it. In a worst case scenario, the neat thing about the CB radio is it'll run on a 12 volt battery. So if you've been following my wind turbine project or anything like that, you know that I have the capabilities of charging a 12 volt battery or creating 12 volt power, so I'll always have communication. CB radio is probably not something that I would use all the time, but it would be neat to have for people in the in your group, or even if they don't stay here. If, for instance, one of the couples in our prepping group lives about a mile away into town a little bit more, so that it's a little bit more congested or whatever down there. So if something happened, they would probably come out here where we're at. But if it wasn't so bad that they needed to, we could still communicate via CB radio because it's a close enough distance. Another thing too with CB radios, just like two-way antennas, is line of sight. You're going to get a little bit more out of your line of, or without line of sight, but you're still limited to line of sight. So obviously the higher you can get your antenna, the better. My antenna is on a 50-foot antenna tower, for the one for the base radio, and then of course my truck has like a 36-inch fire stick. So there is the communication is there, and this is obviously not the best case scenario communicating tools, but it will definitely get the job done if needs be. So that's just a couple of ideas for you: two-way radios and CB radios for basic communication in a worst case scenario situation. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comments below. And until next time, get out there, shoot some guns, be safe, and most importantly, have fun. See you guys later.